What's going on Copper and a Call podcast? It's your boy Loso 2.0, the copy got himself. And today we're going to talk about how negative emotions are a call to action. Okay? And for you don't know what a call to action is, I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory in the name, but call to actions are, basically a warning to do something about it, right? And negative emotions can lead from, I can think of, plenty of them, right? Well, I have notes on all of them. Matter of fact, let me grab them for you then. The negative emotions that there are, 10 of them, 10, right? 10 action signals. There's discomfort, there's fear, there's hurt, anger, frustration, disappointment, guilt, inadequacy, overload or overwhelm, and loneliness. And for the next, few episodes, throughout the weeks, I'll be talking about all 10 of them, right? But today will be about discomfort, right? Because sometimes we do need a reality check, right? Sometimes we need someone to basically tell us about ourselves, or not even someone. Well, I guess it is someone still, but yourself, right? Just sitting there and just talking to yourself, figuring out what's going on with yourself, right? Because you may be in that funk, right? So you may be in that funk. You may feel like you're depressed. You're just depressed and you can't really get out of anything, right? You've been so depressed before and you feel like you just really can't get out of you can't just get out of it. There's nothing else that you can you do. You try plenty of things. You try hanging out with friends. You try doing this. You just feel like you're in a dark place right now, or you've been in a dark place before, so you know the feeling of it, right? And I can tell you right now, the quick way to get into this funk and to stay in this funk is to blame others for your pitfall. Stop making excuses. You can either make excuses or get results. That's the only two things that you can do. So stop blaming others for the fact that, you're inadequate at whatever it is that you're doing. They are not the reason for that, right? And when you're in this dark place, it's because of one of these 10 action signals that are basically, like I talked about in one of my episodes before about the idea of small problems growing big. It's because you had this small problem, but you never took action on it. And then when you don't take some action on some things, it just keeps growing, kind of like cancer, right? It may be like a little virus in a cell. You might have one cancer cell and it multiplies because it was never taken advantage of, or, never did anything. So if you feel these negative emotions, the idea is to take immediate action, right? Not just action, so take immediate action into doing what you can do to basically get yourself out of this funk. And then what you'll do is when you take an immediate action, whenever you feel these negative emotions, you'll be training yourself to prepare to get out of these funks, or like to not get in them at all. Because when you associate these negative things with these, whatever, right? So I'm gonna give you the basically the negative emotions, and then I'm going to tell you about, in the negative emotions, I'm going to tell you about what to do with them, or like what's the solution for the negative emotion. And if you, like I said before, right? If you don't take action on these certain negative emotions, all you're going to end up doing is falling into a deep depression, or something that's like you maybe can't get out of, or you feel like you can't get out of, because I feel like you can get out of anything, because you never took action to begin with. Any small problem, or the small problem grew into something so big that you can't even handle it anymore. And that's the last thing you want, is something to grow so big that you feel like you can't handle it anymore. You fall into depression that's so deep that it's just like, it's whatever. All right. So I'm going to tell you about and like I said, in this episode, when we talk about discomfort though, right? So I'm going to kind of tell you about my, basically what I had to deal with discomfort, or like my story with discomfort. And then I'm going to give you guys a nice little solution for discomfort. Because it's one of those, it's a small one, right? It really is a small thing. You just feel a little uneasy, right? So, and then you feel a little uneasy, and then it's just like, how do I feel basically comfortable in these situations now, right? All right. So like I said, boom, this episode is going to be about discomfort and how to get out of it, right? So discomfort is when you feel a little uneasy. Basically, you don't feel like something feels like a little bit off, right? And it's how you deal with it. Step one, you change your state. So you have to tell yourself you're not uncomfortable. You have to tell yourself you're comfortable. You have to demand yourself to be out of this state. Secondly, you clarify what you want. What are you feeling uncomfortable about? What do you want to feel comfortable about? What is it, the thing that you want? Like if you feel, oh, I feel uncomfortable shooting, first of all, you tell yourself you're comfortable. You feel me? Tell yourself you're comfortable shooting it, and then clarify, okay, I want to shoot. And then refine your actions to do it. Just start shooting. And eventually, I'm telling you, you start shooting, you might take some crazy shots, but eventually you'll feel comfortable doing it. So this is how you work your way out of something like discomfort, right? It's an action signal. But with me, right, my coach gave me the impression is just be comfortable being uncomfortable, which is right? It's like he's telling me to be comfortable being in situations that I'm not used to or accustomed to. But really, if you really look at the solution I just gave you, I'm changing my state first. He's telling me to be uncomfortable. He's telling me, tell yourself to be uncomfortable, Tell yourself to be comfortable. All you have to do is tell yourself that you're going to do it or be uncomfortable. And eventually what you'll do is you'll be comfortable being uncomfortable. I know it sounds like a tongue twister today. And then he would tell me this all the time. So what he was doing when he was constantly telling me this, hey, Los, remember, or Lo, that's what he used to call me. Remember, be comfortable being uncomfortable. He was ingraining it in my mind. It's just like the affirmations, like I talked about before previously. It's like you constantly speak these things. Eventually, it will come true. You can only be told or rejected or denied so many times before it eventually has to fall through. So when he constantly telling me, it's ingraining this in my mind, it's telling me, all right, be comfortable, be comfortable, be comfortable. You're comfortable, you're comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm telling myself I'm changing my state. And then it depends on what I'm trying to do, right? Now, basically my call to action was to deal with it, right? You're going to be in situations you've never been in. That's the beauty of basketball. That's the beauty of all sports, though. There's going to be certain situations you never trained for. But you know what? You do it. You take it by a grain of salt. You take it head on. And then after that, you just adjust. All right, now I know about the situation, so now I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to try it this way. And that's the whole point of being a champion. A champion is not about how many games you win. It's about your ability to adjust through adversity. And then take those lessons that you learned from your losses and use them to adjust. It's all about adjustments. And like I said, once I changed my state, I kept telling myself, my coach kept telling me to be this way, to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I clarified what I wanted to be comfortable with. Okay, you can dribble the basketball. Be more comfortable with it. Be more comfortable out there on the floor. I want to be out there on the floor and be effective out there on the floor. So once I started doing that, I started changing my comfortability. I started getting triple-double games, man. Games with 9 points or 10, 12 points, 9 assists or something crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I literally was starting to get it after a while. Like, I was really getting a lot of assists, and like I was getting some Chris Paul, John Wall numbers, like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, 15 and 10, or, you know what I mean? Or something crazy. And it was Russell Westbrook, 15, 12 and 13 or something with rebounds and stuff, because I was being comfortable, being effective on the floor. I wanted to do everything. My coach always told me, like, if you're out on the floor, you should be getting some type of stats. Whether it's steals, rebounds, points, there's something on board, because numbers don't lie. There's something on the board that you should be putting on the board, basically. So, and then refine your actions. And I started to be more comfortable and do my thing out there and just be aggressive. So, I mean, I don't know what your guys' way of dealing with discomfort. You can comment that below. Subscribe to this channel, like, whatever you got to do. But just remember, you pray for marketing like this. God be God out.